often when recording these videos, I have a hard time starting them out, so we're just gonna roll with this. I like the Tower of Terror a lot. I think you guys know that. My first LEGO model wasn't that good, even though those videos did pretty well. But I wasn't really satisfied with it, to be honest, looking back on it now. So that's why I started this project way back in August.
Wasn't this supposed to happen in late August?
Yes, I know. It was supposed to be done by then, but, you know, you can't rush perfection at this point. Basically, I was supposed to get this done by August, then by Halloween. Of course, that hasn't happened. So here we are now, today, and 12,000 bricks later, I've come up with something I think is going to impress even the most technical LEGO builders out there. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride this new Tower of Terror is going to give you. Building this entire model was really time consuming, and I think you guys know that, considering it took me almost 3 months to get that done. And I think what I've come up with here is really good, and I really hope that the views on this video reflect that. And even if they don't, I know that this is one of my best builds, if not my best. I mean, comparing it directly to an actual picture of the Tower of Terror, it almost looks the exact same. And when I showed it to a lot of people, they didn't even know it was Legos. And I don't want to sound narcissistic here, but I think that's really a testament to how far I've come as a LEGO builder. But enough about me, let's dive into the details of the actual building here. So this, like I said before, took me almost 3 months to complete. It has exactly 12,519 bricks used. And I will mind you that a lot of them aren't accurate in colors, so LEGO hasn't made those parts in a specific color yet. So this cannot be fully built in real life, but hopefully that will change soon, as LEGO creates new parts almost every year. One of my favorite things about this build was adding all the new weathering effects, and that is very noticeable in the front, where the concrete bar systems that hold the concrete all together become visible in the front there with all the cracking. That was really fun to build, with all those slopes, getting those slopes the correct shape and placement was really interesting to do, and I think it turned well in the end. Another big thing when building this model was getting the placement of windows in the correct spot, and there are a lot more windows than the original model, and I'll show you that in a comparison later on in the video. But there are so many more, it really makes the building a lot more interesting, rather than just rows upon rows of the same windows. I tried to make them all different, but of course a lot of the windows used on the actual tower are the same. Of course I had to reflect that in my model, but there are smaller windows here and there around the building that are used in this model, so I did have to include those, and everything about this model is much more interesting to look at, and I think that plays a big part in how well it looks. The main things I wanted to add in this model was obviously enlarging the scale, but actually adding the front section, the lobby terrace portion of the actual tower, and create the actual back, detail that better than the last. And I think I've done that pretty well. It just makes the entire tower feel more whole, if that makes sense. So now this is actually my favorite part of the video, where I'm actually going to compare the two models that I've made. The one on the left is obviously going to be the new version, and the one on the right is the old version. And I think you guys are going to be shocked how much difference there is between the two. Having the two models side by side is really unfortunate, because it makes the first model almost laughable, and I mean that in the best way possible. Marty and I did a wonderful job with what we had on the original model. It'll have a special place in my heart, but obviously the model on the left, the new model, is superior in pretty much every way. But I actually did get sidetracked during building this, and I made like a little bit of the library that's a part of the queue line in tower.
You unlock this door with the key of imagination. Beyond it is another dimension. A dimension of sound. A dimension of sight. A dimension of mind. You're moving into a land of both shadow and substance, of things and ideas. You've just crossed over into the Twilight Zone.
Hollywood, 1939. Amid the glitz and the glitter of a bustling young movie town at the height of its golden age, the Hollywood Tower Hotel was a star in its own right, a beacon for the show business elite. Now, something is about to happen that will change all that. The time is now, on an evening very much like the one we have just witnessed. Tonight's story on the Twilight Zone is somewhat unique and calls for a different kind of introduction. This, as you may recognize, is a maintenance service elevator, still in operation, waiting for you. We invite you, if you dare, to step aboard, because in tonight's episode, you are the star, and this elevator travels directly to the Twilight Zone.